the name most people know me by is Emma Blue.
My name is Joshua Muhammad. I was born in Sudan. We're Muslim there.
Hi, my name is Priscilla. I'm from El Paso, Texas. I'm Rachel Martin from Huntsville, Alabama.
My name's Jonathan. I'm Jewish. My mom's an Orthodox Jew.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rachel Officer, Salt Lake City, Utah.
I'm Zane Black. I love Jesus.
My name's Greg Steer. It is going to be a wild, wild week. It's awesome.
Really pretty.
Come on in, we'll show you guys.
Wow, it looks like out of Dr. Seuss.
We got this thing we're gonna go check out later on called the Needle, which is a huge rock that looks like a needle. It's awesome.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's great. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Got you. Ladies, all of you get to pick a necklace out.
Really? What is female? Thank you. All right.
The Trinity.
Yes.
The trilogy. And the trilogy too, if you want.
Bust a flow.
Yeah, here I am, busting a flow. Now you know.
Word, because he's so
I'm walking
dope,
from
though.
heel to toe. Right, Emma?
Kind of a collision of cultures here. We have Chinese, Japanese, Protestant, Portuguese, the original island settlers, and all these little shrines around here are shrines to these original settlers of Hawaii. And it's pretty interesting. And the religions that they brought with them. We talked about earlier, Hawaii being a melting pot of belief systems and religions, and these kind of represent those original settlers and the belief systems they represented. So it's pretty interesting. And kind of getting into our question of today, a question of religion. So I'm going to ask this question. Why do you think there's, just like in this park, there's a lot of different cultures and religions represented in Hawaii, cultures and religions represented. Why so many religions? What do you think?
I think that religions are like personalities. We all have different personalities, and not everybody is the same way. And I think different religions are for different personalities.
So you think I've never heard it described that way, but kind of like the personality of that country or that culture represented in a religion.
Yeah, I like that. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Because we're all unique in very different ways, and our personality, kind of characterizes who we are, how we live life, and how we go through everyday life. And I think religion kind of, guides us through that.
Yeah. Interesting.
I think it shows just how, like, in the heart of people is to find God. And it just shows how so many different people in so many different cultures have tried to find God in so many different ways.
People have different experiences that lead them on different paths. And maybe all the paths converge into one place eventually, which, can be, I'm not sure what that is exactly, but maybe compassion or love or something like that. But people have different experiences that result in going this way rather than that way.
All right, so I'm a Muslim, and I practice the religion of Islam. So when people ask, well, what's Islam? Islam means submission.
Well, we've talked about the way of work, which is what you're talking about.
Yeah, there's nothing is given. You got to work for it, you know what I'm saying?
And that's at the heart of Islam and a lot of world religions.
Oh, yeah.
What I'd show you in the Bible right now, except for my Bible would fly away, is the way of grace. And it's Ephesians 2:8-9. Paul writes, "For by grace are you saved through faith." It's a gift of God, not by works, so that no one can boast. So once again, we see the way of work kind of coming up against the way of grace.
Yeah.
And I know it's going to lead to a lot more great discussions.
Oh,
but
yeah.
thank you so much for sharing
No problem,
that, man.
anytime.
You rock, soccer player. All right?
You rock, preacher.
Good job, man. Preacher man.
Preacher
All right.
man.
The word comes from the Arabic language meaning peace. So submission to the one God, Allah, and that Prophet Muhammad was his last messenger. We believe in one God and that Prophet Muhammad was his last messenger. That's the big key. A religion of mercy, forgiveness, peace, and trust between the believer and the Creator, God. And that's what I believe. The religion of Islam.
Interesting.
Really, I've just been wondering this whole trip, in terms of like what Emma's doing religiously, like what's going on. So, do you care to share? Like what do you?
Dare to share. I came into this project telling people that I was representing the Buddhists, and I was a little nervous about that because I'm not as well read into it as a lot of my friends who studied it at Naropa, Buddhist-based university I attended. And so I called myself a pseudo-Buddhist, right? But I still said I wanted to represent. And to sum it up, I would say that a lot of what Buddhism is about is duality and taking in whatever is bad in the world, sort of taking that in literally, breathing in the negative energy and radiating out light. So I just came into this really open-minded, and I've been taken on these extravagant experiences and had an amazing talk with Greg on the boat. And so I'm very easily enticed into things. And I will say I have a lot of questions about Christianity. Because I want to know what would happen if like no one believed in God anymore.
Right.
Wouldn't that be really bad?
Would it be like Elf? Have you seen the movie
Yes,
Elf?
that's what I was thinking of.
But he believed in Santa, and then a sleigh wouldn't fly. I wonder.
Does the Bible talk about that? How it's like, you know, nothing will happen until like there's like at least half the world leaves or something.
Right. Well,
There isn't a percentage.
no, yeah, not so much a percentage, but it does say that God is holding out his wrath because he hopes that none should perish, but that all should come to repentance.
Wow. But there's a lot of things that feel right. So I have a lot more questions to go, but I will say for the sake of the project that I'm a pseudo-Buddhist.
So Buddhism is kind of like a philosophy in itself. So
It's a
theoretically,
creative life.
you could be a Jewish Buddhist or a Christian Buddhist or an Islam Buddhist, because it's kind of like you're just adding the teaching onto the religion.
But if you are saying that you're a Buddhist and you have this sort of romance with the beads and you're really all about the meditation cloaks, and that gets more into that's not what Buddhism is about. Yeah, it's more of a way of life.
Is there sort of like a salvation or kind of the end goal for Buddhism?
Well, and they talk about enlightenment, and people have this idea of, you know, being in a cloud and eating cream cheese, and that's enlightenment. And what I've come to understand through practicing and through a lot of teachings is that if we are here now in this moment and feel our breath and are feeling whatever it is we feel, discomfort, pain, sadness, then we are enlightened in this moment if we are here. Yes.
I kind of have like two questions. You know how every religion, like Islam has the Quran, Christianity has the Bible. I was wondering if there's a book behind that, behind Buddhism. And another thing is heaven and hell. Do you guys believe in heaven and hell after life, after death? Where do you go? You know.
Right, and there's a lot of different forms of Buddhism too. And so I've been trained in one form of Buddhism called Shambhala Buddhism, or the Vajrayana, Mahayana, which are different levels of it. And Mahayana means literally the great vehicle of compassion. We create our own hells in our habitual patterns, in our cocoons.
I had a couple questions that I was talking to my mom about before I came here, and I was like, you know, I don't believe in hell. And she's like, well, maybe they can address that for you, and maybe they can address the whole, that I think the Bible went through the corrupt Catholic Church, and how am I supposed to believe something that is like that? And she's like, well, that's going to be an excellent question for you, and hopefully they can.
To me, we live in a stinking confusing world, and I want an anchor. I mean, I want an objective standard for my faith. So I'm saying, in the confusion of this world, I got a compass. You know, I got a map, I got a rock. And without it, it's just kind of this, you know, who knows who's right? You know, just roulette, you know, the roulette. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we'll be digging into some of that. But you and me, we're going to have that hell conversation. That's what I want to have.
Okay.
The unconditional love of God and hell are not inconsistent. I'm going to throw in is it okay if I throw in a little grenade here?
Yeah.
Is that all right?
Please do.
Can all these religions be right?
Well, maybe we'll never know.
We'll just have to wait and see.
From my reading of the Bible, so for what I believe, in my understanding of Scripture, Jesus claimed to be the way, in a sense, so claimed that he was the only way, the truth, the life, to the Father, claiming to be that that they can all be right, in a sense. And ultimately, that's a part of the reason why people killed Jesus. It wasn't just because he went around saying happy everything's including everybody, but he said some things that kind of defined points in people's life of you're choosing one or the other. And Jesus claimed to be that one way to the Father, in a sense, kind of casting out that there's just many ways up one mountain, but claiming to be the one way to the Father. So from what I believe is that no, they can't be all right.
So that's pretty strong opinion. What are you guys thinking?
I'm on the same boat.
Yeah.
So I would say, according to the Quran and according to what I believe, we believe that Islam and Allah, the Creator, the God Almighty, there's no other being on the planet or His Prophet Jesus that he could get you, that there would be any other way than Him. He's God. He's the Creator. Other religions don't even compare to what He has to say.
Maybe because we don't believe in salvation or a definite heaven.
Yeah.
In Judaism, we don't see the need for people to follow it so intently and with such listen to Jesus and be saved, or if you don't, you're not. Like, we don't have these ultimatums in Judaism or Islam being the right one, or any of these religions being the right religion. So a typical Jew's answer would be no. You have a universal path to God. Do your own thing, and He'll judge in the end. My view is maybe this is why I'm not too religious, is that I kind of step back and I'm just like, okay, maybe everybody's wrong, right? You ever think of that?
Yeah, I did, for sure.
You must have thought of that before you accepted it.
Yeah, for sure.
So maybe it's we don't believe in heaven and hell, so maybe that's where the difference really is.
But it seems like since in Islam and Christianity, it is very definitive, this is right, and if you aren't doing this, you're not gonna like it when Judgment Day comes.
Right.
I almost am feeling now maybe I should jump on one of these bandwagons just in case.
Or both.
Then I can't go wrong.
Pascal's wager.
I don't think you can do both.
Pascal, real quick, share what Pascal.
Okay, Pascal's wager. He's a philosopher, and he basically said, I can be an atheist and not believe in God, or if I could believe in God, and if I'm wrong, I believe in Him, so it's okay, because and if I'm right, I'm going to heaven, and if I'm wrong, whatever, I'd be done anyways. So it's Pascal's wager. It's I'll just go on with it.
Well, whether you like it or not, we're all getting baptized by the rain right now. So this sets up our question for the rest of the day. So let's get out of the rain.
I thought we were going up the mountain and I was like, shoot me now!
Now we're going to do 5 zipline crossings, 1 suspension bridge. We'll be right back here in about an hour and a half. The zips are time we finish you guys off. You're going to be doing about 40 miles an hour.
No way.
Wait. Sweet guys, let's head up the trail. Watch your steps.
I have a feeling it's going to be slightly more of an adrenaline rush.
There's one main rule: you guys never touch this cable.
My man, I'll go first. That was great. It scared me to death.
Oh, look how beautiful that was.
You made it.
I really think there's just a twist in one of my ropes that's causing me to rotate.
Are we debating just to win the argument? Cause none of us want to hear about where we go wrong. This song could easily be from me.
I think I have to thank God.
Let's do it.
Whoa! Yay! Well, John's definitely had the worst. Yeah, he's definitely had the worst. But I think we just like to make fun of him anyways. Yeah, they're bad.
Oh boy!
Pretty excited about this, I'll be honest.
You pumped up?
Yep. Sweet.
Wow! It's a long way down. Just say that. I'm getting so nervous.
Take me home.
Oh, incredible. I never thought I could fly, and that's what that was.
That was
Oh, that was scary. I was really scared when I went backwards.
Standing on the platform that's like this, I got a little nervous.
Attaboy.
It was so much fun. It's just seeing the ocean on this side and just the green, lush, everything. It's truly, we live in a great world.
That might have been the most fun I've ever had, going down that.
We had a lot of fun together, which I think was one of the most important parts that I don't think... Have you done this before?
Not really.
I haven't done this before, so I thought it was excellent.
Before this, I was scared of height, and after all the activities we've been doing, in the past, like 3 days? I think I'm loving it. I'm not afraid of heights anymore, that's for sure. But I loved every minute of it. Thank you, Derek.
All right, we're going to continue the conversation, and pretty intense. Started getting really good. Can all religions be right? What do you guys think?
I think yes. I mean, there's definitely that are obviously, I think, really wacky and way off, but for the most part, we all have a gist of something that's right in the religion.
Probably not. Yeah, there would be a lot of different gods then coexisting together with one another. Which for some reason I don't really feel. I feel more of like a universal God, which maybe can appear in different forms to each person.
Each religion in its own, what I've learned from here and what I picked up from everyone, is that each religion is saying that I'm the right one, you know. If you believe me and the non-believers, you know, they're not going to go to heaven. But you, as being in my religion, you know, I'm right. I'm the right way. I'm the guidance for you, you know. And I should be for others. So get others to follow me as, you know, as you're following my religion, you know, that I'm the right way.
So it's like in Judaism, they actually try to convince people not to convert if they want to convert.
Ravi Zacharias says that to say that all religions are the same is actually to discredit each and every one of those religions. Because at their core, every religion claims to have their way to God. And so to say that they're all the same is to discredit each and every one of those religions because they believe at their core that they are the way to God.
there's no way, all religions, and then imagine how many gods are out there and how many religions are out there that you could say every religion's right,
It's been, you and I have we had a really good conversation last night, and about the way of the Quran and the way of Muhammad and Allah versus the Bible and Christianity. And that, although Islam believes Jesus was a great prophet, there is a difference because Christianity believes Jesus is God.
Yeah.
And I tell you, it's a pretty distinct difference. We're really saying two different things.
I just don't understand how something can be right and wrong. Like if you live out a good life, then you should be accepted into heaven. And I believe every religion should have that. I guess that's why I don't believe in hell. So.
And then every religion, has that. If you do live, a good life, you follow your pillars or whatever you have in your religion, I think God is going to accept you into heaven. But then there's so many religions out there. Is there a universal God, or is there, or are there just different gods and stuff? Or is there just one God for everybody? And I think that's a big question behind it.
I mean, the difference between Buddhism and Hinduism, Buddhism really doesn't believe in a personal God. Hinduism believes in one kind of big God, and then there's 300 million other gods that you can choose to follow. And Buddhism and Hinduism, they both can't be right. There's no God in Buddhism, or there's many gods in Hinduism. They both can't be right. I think it seems like a logical fallacy to me.
But then there's also truth in everything, and maybe those 300 million gods. I mean, I know some of the stories, and they're just amazing, and they totally represent, people we don't necessarily know who live next door to us. So, but that we all have the ability to become.
So you're saying there's truth, there may be strands of truth in every religion, which I would agree with. I think there are a lot of that. But the question is there a universal reality? I mean, is there, to bring Joseph Smith into the mix, Joseph Smith, was told, that all the other, like you said, all the other Christian religions are wrong and that they've kind of been straying. So that kind of brings Christianity and Mormonism into a conflict. You were telling me a lot of the missionaries, when they're going, have a lot of conflict when they're talking to Christians. And I know sometimes Christians can be obnoxious about it. But a lot of conflict about who really Jesus was, because there's a difference of opinion on the nature of God.
Yeah. It's like we each interpret the Bible a different way. And I think a lot of religions are based off that. Like Christianity, they interpret that Jesus is God. And then there's some scriptures that say, that I'm the Son of God. And so it's like you can take what you can take, and then they branch off on religions on that. So I just think the Bible's interpreted a different way.
Absolutely, and even the act of reading the Bible is an interpretive act. And my friend last night was saying, if you have a room full of Christians, even evangelical Christians, and you talk to each one of them about what their idea of God is, it's going to differ, even if it's only very minutely. There's going to be a difference.
I think, for Jesus, I think he was either a liar, he was a lunatic, or he was God, Lord, because he claimed to be God. So, and we were talking about this a little bit, if Joshua goes to school when he gets back and one of his teachers says, I'm God, that teacher better either be God or is no longer a good teacher or is a liar, And so I think that's kind of what we have to come to is he can't be he was a good teacher, or, he taught wise things. I mean, he was either a liar, lunatic, or Lord because he claimed to be God. And ultimately, that was one of the reasons why he was killed. It wasn't because he went around saying nice things hey, follow this and it'll be nice. But he said some things that made people want to kill him. And part of that was claiming to be God.
I mean, John 14, Philip, one of his disciples, says, show us the Father, that we want to see God the Father. Yeah. And he goes, hey, I've been with you this long and you still don't recognize who I am? I mean, he claimed to be God, which is a drastic claim. I mean, Muhammad never claimed to be Allah. Yeah. I mean, he never made that claim. He claimed to be the prophet of Allah. Yeah. Jesus claimed to be God. And so that's something to contend with. That he, like you said, he's either Lord God, he's a lunatic and he's a liar, and if he's God, then, you know, it sets Jesus almost in conflict with some of the other world religions, and or if Allah is the true and living God and Jesus Christ is a prophet. And so I think we've been really focused on our unity together and the commonalities, but I think it's time to dig in a little bit deeper to some of these differences and really talking about them, you know, talking about, you know, where we differ, because I think we have a strong enough relationship now to where we can still be friends at the end of the day, right? To me, as I look at you know, Islam, I see a definite difference of what we believe, you know, about who God is, and Mormonism, and Buddhism, and Judaism. I mean, and this is the question we have is, you know, can all the religions be right? I mean, is it a possibility? You said, Emma, no. It doesn't seem like it could be a possibility. What do you guys think?
I'm going to say no too then. I think of Jehovah's Witnesses. I had a best friend who used to be one. And they base a lot of their religion on the, 144,000 people that only get to go to heaven? I think that's absolutely crazy. Why would God create so many people and only say, I'm going to create you, we're all going to hell, except for these 144,000? To me, that's really crazy. But, you know, at the same time, they're good people, but I think that belief is, I think it's wrong, different.
I know it's hard to say right or wrong.
Right.
It's because that seems so, I'm right, you're wrong,
Right.
I'm in, you're out, you know? And
Yeah.
it's almost like, you know, can they all be the true way or something, you know?
Yeah.
And how do we know that true way, you know?
How would you know?
How would you know, you know?
Let me ask you, how would you know that whether or not you're following the truth? I mean, how do you know if your religion is right?
I didn't tell you guys my whole story. Okay, so yeah, I OD'd, right? And almost lost my life. Well, that kind of was a result of also, I got my girlfriend pregnant when I first moved out from my house. 18 years old, got my girlfriend pregnant. Came home one day, she was like, I'm pregnant.